Let's see here. Okay, let me get share everything to the public places. Okay, let's see what we got. Testing. Let's see. All right, we live. Testing. All right, we're gonna. Okay, no. Let's see what about it. Mm-mm. Sharing everywhere that needs sharing. And I'm gonna look at a couple things before we get started. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see what we got going on. Cause yeah, I wanted to talk about some things pertaining to pertaining to ministry that I caught the revelation, and it's what other people might find helpful because he had to show me. Let me see what we got going on. Okay, because last time it said Pittman Property Management LLC on there, and I don't understand why I did that. Let's see something. Okay. All right. Let's see what's going on here. 'Cause I might have to. Okay, that's why. That's the problem I ran into. I have to fix that. Okay, I had to change that. I got a different debit card. That's so that didn't go through. But I need to change it anyway because I wanted to change my payment information. Um, I shared everything where I need to share it. Now I'm gonna share it on my other page so we can get this thing going. Because I only got 2 hours. I doubt I'd be 2 hours. I'm not gonna be that long, but I want to make sure. Because I don't want no long live streams if I can help it. I want to kind of move it along. There we go. All right. All right. Ministry. Truth about ministry. And I said I was going to talk about what made me not do music ministry full time. I still do, but it's not full time like it was. Um, but of course, when we doing these things, we have to make sure God gets the glory out of it. So to anyone that may be looking for me to bash past ministries or anything like that, speak negatively on things like that. Uh, Maybe it's disappointed because that's not what this is about. And I don't know why these spam calls keep calling me. All this is spam. Even on Sunday, they work 24/7. But that's not what I came to do today. It's more so what I had to learn from the ministry experience, uh, and it's what caused a lot of chaotic experiences in my past. It wasn't the ministries I was sent to; it was my own mindset that kept me from that restricted me in a lot of different areas. Because when you serving God, when you in a service to the Lord, when you're making a commitment to God, uh, not only is He using you to serve others, but He also has to put you in a position where you can grow, where you can learn, where and it's also some things that's in you that have to die. So He may send you to some places to stretch you and get you up to standard to where He can fully use you because we're He's constantly not only is He calling us to serve, He's calling us to grow. So when we are in certain positions, He's calling us to expand. So it may cause some discomfort. It may cause us to be in a place where He has to get those things out of us, and it may cause us to have to be more humble in different areas because you may be humble in one area and prideful in another area. Um, he may have to work on that. But that's one thing when it came to music. I had gotten used to when I was younger growing up. I got used to having a lot of having a lot of admiration and praise when it came to that. But when you're in ministry, it's a little different. When you're serving under a ministry, it requires more humility. It requires uh, more discipline, more self control. It also requires world warfare for you to endure persecutions, all kind of different things like that. Because a lot of the spirits that you're in charge of, a lot of yokes that you have to break, a lot of things, those principalities I talked about in previous message, they don't want to be broken. They don't want to release those people. So you're gonna face a lot of warfare. You're gonna face a lot of attacks. And yeah, I know it stopped recording. I don't care. But you're gonna face a lot of attacks. I hope it stays with the church man. I hope it don't change to people property management. But you're gonna face a lot of different attacks because those that warfare is associated with that ministry. Every ministry has a different level of warfare. So first, when I started, I was just doing it just to be doing it. Hey, I like playing the drum. I like playing the keyboard. I just jump up there, not understanding the warfare that comes with it, not understanding the persecution that comes with it, not understanding the level of sacrifice that's demanded when it comes to using those gifts. So I say this to say this, say that to say this. People that want to preach and want to grab a mic are so quick to jump behind a pulpit, are so quick to have these big positions. What you got to understand is whatever you want, there's a level of persecution that comes with it. There's a level of sacrifice that comes with it. There's a level of warfare. The people that's preaching, people that's doing the hoop and howl and all that, there's a level of warfare that comes with it. They're getting, and then they have to teach these things, different things. There's a level you have to be tested in all those areas. So whatever area so it's not as easy as it don't look. It may look good to you on the outside, but in reality, they dealing with a lot of warfare. They dealing with a lot of persecution. They get blamed for things. They get held to a higher standard, which means a higher level of accountability, and they're getting judged more strictly. They get, it's a lot of different avenues they have to. It's a lot of different things they have to deal with as it pertains to when whatever area they're serving in. Being a musician, there's a level. I can tell you this right. There's a level of warfare that goes with that. And if you ain't ready, if you ain't equipped, if you're not in your face, if you're not constantly seeking to look, because the principle, those whatever that needs to come off of those people in that ministry, whatever principalities you have to go against, whatever spiritual wickedness you have to deal with, strongholds, all the whoever's in there that may be dealing in witchcraft, all that's going to come at you because you have to set the atmosphere in the ministry. You have to set the atmosphere to keep everything going smoothly. So, and you have to break yokes. We have to when when the pastor, when the prophet, when they're laying hands, when all that, we have to bag them up. We have to cover them spiritually in music, and it's a lot of warfare goes because they don't want those demonic spirits do not want to be set free. They don't want to set those people free. I mean, they don't want to release those people. They don't want to come out of those people. They don't. And you have people's flesh. It don't want to change, like I said before. So you're gonna get attacked from all different on in the natural, in the spiritual. It's gonna be all kind of persecution. It's gonna even be friction between you and the leader at times because that's the kind of warfare that you have to deal with in that ministry. And it ain't just getting up there doing something. Just like when you're preaching, it's not just getting up there and grabbing a mic. It's not just getting up there. And it's more to church than that. It's more to ministry than that. Now, church is four walls. It's the way it's set up now. Church is really, that's why I named my ministry what it is. We are the church ministries because ministry is ministry. It's all over whether you're in church, in the within the four walls, whether you're at Walmart, whether you're at Sam's, whether you at no matter where it's at. What's name? God told me to name it because it's actually true. Are, we are the church. So it's not limited to the four walls. It's not limited to Sunday and Wednesday. It's not limited to Bible study. It's this is a lifestyle. That's why when I did a message on salvation, this is the way. It's our way of life. It's a whole lifestyle. We have to live it, walk it, breathe it, talk it. This is part of our life. In season, out of season, we have to always be. And it's not just with our gifts. It's not just playing. It's not just singing. Whatever gift He's using you in ministry, it's not just that. It goes beyond that, and which is reason why I'm not doing it as much full time because I kept feeling a pull to expand. I kept feeling the pull to go beyond just playing the keyboard, just playing because there's nothing wrong with that, but I felt like I was in a box. I kept feeling the pull to expand, to grow, to go beyond, to extend. Um, there was this huge pressure, and it wouldn't let me rest. It kept disturbing my peace. I couldn't hardly sleep, and I couldn't to go beyond, not to just have a mic, not just to, uh, but I felt limited in my ability to serve, and I knew that ministry. I was being shown that ministry goes beyond our gifts. It goes beyond what we're doing in church, what we're doing on camera, what we're doing, and all of that. And he keeps showing me that program. I'm gonna put it together. That train up a child program. Eventually, I'm gonna put it together, but I have to get things and have to get things in place first. Because, like I said, ministry goes beyond church. It goes beyond that. So we may have um, because we have a place in media, we have places in business, we have vacancies in politics, all different areas. It's a lot of different areas that we can serve in. There's a lot of different areas we can represent Christ in. It's not just the four walls. We limit it within. If we limit it to those, we can represent Him on our job. We can represent Him in. If we're a teacher, we can represent Him. Like I said, no matter where we are, everyone has areas where they can represent Him in. Everyone has areas where they can serve Him in. It's not just Sunday. It's not just, it goes deeper than that. Church is just where we gather in fellowship and worship and serve Him and worship Him together. But service, when you look back at when Christ was ministering, when he had his ministry, he was traveling everywhere. The Levites, they weren't just limited to church, just limited to Sunday or Saturday, or they weren't limited to that. They went all around teaching and baptizing and proclaiming the gospel and serving and helping and feeding and healing. Um, so it was they went all around. They served so they were basically in the community. That's why I have a lot of respect for ministries that serve the community, that feed the community, that have the gas, like the free gas, the clothing giveaways, the food drives, the evangelistic ministries, the ones that do the tent revivals, the ones that actually serve the community, pray for the community, feed them, the ones that do the do those food drives where you can go get the food. I have a lot of respect for that because you have churches that have homeless shelters and different. They teach financial classes, it's different things like that. All of it is part of ministry, just serving the people in general. Because I have a burning desire, not just to use my. It was just it started out with that, but I started feeling the calling to expand beyond that to actually serve the people, and so that's why I have a larger, even bigger desire to gain the resources that's needed so I can serve the people. I have a big desire to get business where it needs to be, finance where it needs to be, so I can serve more people and fulfill the vision that He's given me when it comes to ministry. Because, um, but I can still serve within my ability. But it's like I even when I this is how I feel about when I'm at a church now. This is my thoughts on it. I told her I don't even have to have a mic. Whatever area that I'm able to serve in, whatever area is needed. I know I've been in ministry a long time, but He's blessed me with my own online media ministry. He gave me the instructions to on how to run it, on what to do, and how to do it, way to form it. But whatever area, this is the attitude I had to get, and this is why I had to uh, serve others and be limited and be um, was restricted in certain areas and had to be humbled because I had a sense of there was a sense of pride in there, but I had to be humbled in the area of every area. If I have to sweep a floor, if I have to wash a window, whatever area is needed when it comes to ministry, with hand somebody a plate, go witness to people, go pass out flyers, anything, um, any area that's needed. We can't limit ourselves when it comes to serving because Jesus was washing people's feet. He was serving. He he was a king, but he was serving people. He was serving. He came from the seed of David, so he was a king. He was a true king because he came because you know how culture is that the descendants take over. How the descendants are supposed to, because Solomon was the seed of David and he took over. Jesus came from that same bloodline. So David is his great, 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 great. You know what I'm saying? He came. He's the seed of David. So he had uh, he had every right to the throne, but he was serving people. He chose to serve instead. He chose to give his life up. He could have had all that, but he chose to give it up. So, so me saying that whatever is needed, whatever, however God wants to use me, whatever area He wants to use me in, when it pertains to a ministry, it doesn't matter because ministry is ministry. As far as I'm concerned, we've gotten comfortable wanting titles, wanting this and that, but it's not really a. The title is important, because it helps to establish order within the ministry. However, we're not limited just to that title, because we all do the work of an evangelist. We all do the work of, we're all charged with serving the people, feeding his sheep. He said, Peter loveth not me, feed my sheep. We're all challenged to do that in this area. We're all in the areas of providing that service. We're all tasked in the areas of, because nowadays, that's why I see people that are incredibly judgmental. I always compare them to the Pharisees, because I didn't see. Now there was some accountability when it came from to when I compare Christianity. I look at Jesus Christ's ministry. I look at his ministry. I look at how his life and his teachings, because his teachings are the foundation of modern day Christianity. That's what Christianity is supposed to be based off: his teachings, his following him. Of course, we had the law of Moses and all that other stuff, but uh, Jesus Christ founded his ministry. That's when the new covenant was established. So now, instead of having to focus on obeying all the laws, you just follow Christ. You follow him. He give you a companion. You get the Holy Spirit, receive the Holy Spirit, and he'll lead you on the path, on the where you should go. You'll be led by the Spirit. He'll lead you and guide you, because the fruits of the Spirit is what is the long suffering, is the love, the patience, the kindness. That's the fruits of the Spirit. That's what we have to represent, and that's what the Holy Spirit is going to have too. Also, take it a step further. If what's speaking to you has those fruits, that's the Spirit. If it has that long suffering, it has that patience, if it has that, if something is talking to you out of hate, out of resentment, out of anger, out of bitterness, it's not the fruits of the Spirit. So you not. That's what just kicked me. I wanted to say it for it faded. If it's whatever is speaking to you, if it don't have those fruits, it ain't the Holy Spirit. It ain't God. It ain't from God. If it ain't out of love, it ain't out of patience, if it ain't out of, you know, if it goes against the lines of self-control, if it's telling you can do what you want, how you want, it ain't the Holy Spirit. Because the Holy Spirit is self-control. It ain't going, if it's calling you to act out of fear, God don't give us a spirit of fear, power, love, and sound mind. There's certain things that you can use to see if that's the spirit or not. But anyway, just wanted to say that before I forgot it. But we it's a different covenant versus the Mosaic law, and I look at Christianity as the way Christ did it, because he came to be the example of what it's supposed to be. So when I see people say that Christians are judgmental and Christians are this and that, or Christians are hateful, mean, evil, no, those aren't Christians. So you're looking at people that are posing as Christians and pretending to be Christians, using the name and fully representing are two different things, because if they're Christians, they're gonna follow Christ. They're gonna follow his teachings. They're gonna have his mindset. Even if they're not perfect, they're still gonna try to line up as best they can with his way, his mindset. Because the people, and uh, let me explain this too. Um, why Judaism is separate from Christianity. The Jews rejected him. A lot of them did. Some of them became Christians. Some of them followed Christ, and which is where you had the Pentecost and all of that. But a lot of them rejected him, and so he made a covenant with the Gentiles, because the Gentiles received him. The Gentiles wanted to receive Christ, so that's why there's a new covenant, and that's how that's part of how Christianity came to be. They were called Christians, but before that, they were just worshiping God. They were just following Christ. Um, they weren't just. It wasn't really a religion to them. They were just following Christ. But when you when you look at it as following Christ and giving your heart to Christ, putting your heart into His teaching, it's different. A lot of people they think, oh, they're since they go to church every Sunday, they're Christians. Since they shout and all of that stuff, oh, they must be Christian. Not everybody really represents. Some people just do it just to be doing it. Some people don't truly have the heart to serve Christ. If they're judgmental, if they're not long suffering, if they're not, if they don't have self control, they're angry, they have a horrible attitude, they're bitter, and angry towards you, and have a, they're not fully immersed into the idea of Christianity. Because we had to ask yourself, was Jesus? Did Jesus act like that in any way? And the people that represented him, did they act like that in any way? Biblically, did he was he hateful towards people? No, he fed people. He helped people. He healed people. He was more concerned about them being healed and being delivered, and them um, finding finding God versus what they were doing from day to day. Now, our lifestyle is important. However, all that is the standard on how Christians should live. It's not something he beats us over the head with. Now we do have to repent and we do have to receive him and all that other stuff. But um, just simply beating people over the head, every mistake they make, every decision they make, or you do this, this is not. It's not. Now like I said, accountability is very important. But um, the more important thing is for us to change our heart. More important thing is for us to change our mind. The more important thing is for us to uh, put away the old mindset, take on a new mindset, which is to follow him. And because one of the things he tells us to love God with all your heart, mind, and strength. I mean, all your heart, mind, body, spirit. If we do that, love our neighbor, thyself. Once we do those things, once we uh, put on that new mindset and not judge other people so harshly on. Now, it's a difference between uh, judging people and just accountability, because people that serve Christ, we do like leaders, they they are supposed to rebuke. That's because we're commanded to rebuke. But like I said, it's out of love versus trying to serve our own ego. So it ain't just it wait a minute, where we at? Yeah, it's out of love. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's out of love versus trying to serve our own ego. It ain't out of because a lot of people just try to serve their own ego. But anyway, back to I was restricted and was trapped in this whole thing versus and I kind of put myself in that predicament because I got so caught up in playing in music itself that I didn't see the whole picture. Ministry is ministry. The whole thing is not limited to church. He was calling me to expand, to elevate, to do more than just. He started when he was requiring more. He may put you in a position of discomfort. May put you in a may you. He'll cause you to feel somewhat restricted. And it's not so much as you wanting to grab a microphone in the church, you wanting to be in a more powerful position in the church. No, he may be calling you to minister to your neighbors. He may be calling you to serve at in different areas in the community. He may be calling you what you may have other gifts. He may be calling you to media ministry. He may be calling you to serve in the soup kitchen or prison ministries or other things. There's a ministry outside of your actual church home. Don't limit yourself to that. Don't limit yourself to your acts because he may be calling you to areas outside of it. He may be calling you to business because there's a way that he can get the glory out of people's lives in business, in finance, in real estate, in whatever. It may be calling you to serve in those different areas. Um, Like I said, it's people all over that need God. It's not just in the church, in the four walls on Sunday, on Wednesday. It's people everywhere that need Christ, that need to hear, you know, it's people everywhere that need witnessing to, that need to see and feel the love of God demonstrated. They need to see it. It's not just because if we limit it to there, we're limiting, we're really limiting our reach, because it's not just about that. It's not just about what we do on Sunday. Just going to church by itself, that's not serving the Lord. He called us to do so much more than just that. We go there to learn about him. We go there to be fed about it, be fed just like you go to class. Just like let's say you're taking the class. You're supposed to do more than just be in class. Show up to class and do the classwork. I've learned in college, I learned more outside of the classroom versus in the classroom. When you do your homework, when you do other assignments, that's really how I learned. I learned more outside of there because I applied what I was taught in the class. Because homework, when they give you homework, they're training you. They're telling you to apply what we're teaching you. Okay, this is the lesson here. Here's your homework. When it comes to church ministry, we're being taught, we're being fed, being trained in the church, but we are supposed to apply those principles in the real world. That's the purpose of it. We're supposed to take what we know and apply it. We're not just sit on it. We hear the word every Sunday. That's why it says to be a not just a hearer, but a hearer and a doer. And a doer. We're supposed, and faith without works is that you may believe it, you may be hearing it. Faith come by hearing of the word of God. If you're believing, you're receiving the word, you're hearing the word, but without applying it in real life, without doing uh what has told us to do, serving out there in real life, like outreach and different other things. He may be calling you to do whatever it is he's putting in your heart to do outside of that ministry. Outside, that's where the real. Now, I'm not saying churches don't work and do that. We've limited ourselves to the church, but we are called to serve. Go ye therefore teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. We're called to minister everywhere, everywhere, not just within the four walls. That's where the training is. That's where you're being learned, getting the proper teachings. That's where you're being fed. That's where you're being nourished. That's where we're being humbled and stretched, or whatever the case may be. However, it doesn't stop there. That's not the only place. It's not where that's not where it's just not. Don't limit yourself to just that, to just Sunday school, to just church. We are to apply his word daily in every, like I said, you may be called to different other areas. In church, you may just be an usher, but out there, you may impact the world in a greater way than you realize. And you may just be a janitor in the church. You may just be the person that cuts the grass in the church. That's just in the church. That does not define who God called you to be in the earth. Because everyone may not be assigned a high position in the church. That's okay. I told God I'm completely okay with that. I don't need that. I don't have to have that. That I was guilty of desiring that, but I got to a point where I don't need that. I'm happy with the media ministry. I'm happy with that. I'm just happy with what I got going on now. I could be a janitor in the church. I won't care, not one bit. I could just be the person that washed the windows. I won't care one bit. I could be the person that turn the lights on. I don't care one bit, because however you want to use me. because it's not limited to that building. I understand the concept now that I'm not limited to that. Had I understood this earlier, I would have not felt, I would have handled a lot of those situations in ministry different back then. I would have handled a lot of it back then a whole lot different if I had that same mindset. But of course, it's impossible because it took those situations for me to get the mindset, which is why I'm not hard on myself because of it. I learned to forgive myself from all of that because it took those things to get where I am. So I couldn't have been had that mindset in those positions because I needed those things to happen. I needed to be sent to those places. I needed to be stretched and humbled just to think the way I'm thinking now. But the truth about it is not limited to the church. Ministry is not limited to that. He may call you. You have no, ain't no telling where he's calling you to minister to, at or to. So now there are a lot of in-house ministries and where you have the fivefold and where you serve in-house. Even they're not limited to in-house. They even have services that they even have things they have to do outside of the four walls. We all do. So this is my encouragement to anybody that may, let's say you have a church home and your leaders instructed you to you think you're supposed to be a prophet or a preacher with a microphone or be behind the pulpit, and they're instructing you to maybe be the janitor or be just or play the drum or just limited to uh, things that you may have not, you wouldn't have probably chosen. Your ministry is not limited to that. If you want to witness to people, we have Facebook Live, we have YouTube. If you want to talk about God, you want to bring people to Christ, you can practice on your neighbor, you can practice on your friends. You got family members that need God. You got people out in the world, people at Walmart, people at Kmart that need to come to Christ. You don't, it's not limited to the pulpit. It's not limited to the microphones in the church. That's not all of ministry. It's a percent of a percent. It's not everything. You're not, because anyone can go live on Facebook now. Anyone can go live on social media. Anyone can go live on Instagram, all these other places. You got people that care nothing about Christ going live. So it doesn't, you don't have to fight over microphones and all that other stuff. Don't have to fight over the pulpit. You don't have to do that. You don't have to fight over titles. Anyone, you can serve in or out of the church. If you're a janitor in church, if you want to witness to people, you can witness to people. You can go on Facebook. You can post statuses that give God the glory. You can post Christian, those Christian, those words of encouragement. That you could do that. He has other things. You have other gifts in there that you can use. If you want, if there's the church you go to, you like being a musician. The church you go to has all the musicians. What you do is you go on Facebook Live and you play and you sing or you do whatever. You can do it. You don't have to be in church to do it. It's not, don't limit yourself. If you know that you have a heart and you want to pour it, you can go live and do it. You don't to do. You can do music like that. You can witness like that. Now, you can, if you're an intercessor, things like that. You don't have to just intercede in the church. You can do it in real life, outside of it. You don't have to do it inside. You can do it outside of the church. You can bring people to Christ outside the church. You don't have to limit yourself to that. You don't have to restrict yourself. Church is just where we go to come together in fellowship. It's just where we go to come together and learn, where we come together so we can continue to grow. Nothing is wrong with church. Nothing's wrong with it. It's you have people that started churches for ill purposes and ill things. We're not going to get in that today. But if God assigns you a church home, and let's just say, like I said, if you're not, and you know what He gifted you with and what He called you to do, sometimes you have to be placed where we can be trained and where we can learn and where we can grow. But God never said you couldn't serve people outside of church. He never said you couldn't. Now, I'm not saying you if you're now I'm not saying you do things out of time and placement, because some people want to minister in areas that they may be called to, but they're not. It's not their time yet. So I'm not. So don't mistake the two. Don't think I'm just telling. If you think you're supposed to have your own church, you go out there and it's not your time yet, and you go out there and start a ministry. No, that's not what I'm saying. If you like preaching, you could preach on Facebook. You could preach with you could practice on you start on your friends and family. Start with the people around you. How effective are you bringing the people around you to Christ? How effective are you bringing your family to Christ? You have to start there before you can, because any any person that's been through ministry training or anything like that, they'll tell you the same thing. You start with yourself, your family. You start there first. When you want to use and when you want to improve people's lives through ministry, you start with your life first. You take the Bible, you improve your life, you use it, you start inward, go out, expand outward. If you want to make a difference, inward, outward. So I'm not because I don't want people to, because people will take your stuff and take it out of context. Well, I can start my own church. I can go do this and that. I can no, not what I'm saying. I'm just saying don't limit yourself within those four walls. If all you are is a security guard in the church, if you have other gifts if you have other gifts in other areas, it's not limited to church. If you like to sing and play the keyboard or whatever, but they have musicians in the church, you just a janitor or something, you can go on Facebook Live and sing. You could have songs, you could have music playing and just sing your heart out. Have music sessions, have your own music ministry on Facebook. That ain't hurt nobody. You could witness to people on Facebook. That ain't hurt nobody. Or witness to your neighbors, or your cousins, or your aunties, or your friends, or your family. That ain't hurt nobody. That ain't hurt encouraging people, bringing people's, inviting people to come to the ministry, inviting people to Christ. That ain't hurting nobody. So I'm not conducting. I'm just being clear, because people will try to take that. I'm not trying to. I'm not here to confuse people. That's what I'm saying. But see, I enjoy doing. I said I've been doing this 6 years, like encouraging people, trying to bring people to Christ, breaking down a lot of things that's in the biblical, because a lot of people get certain things confused. But and I try to explain it in a way where anybody can get it, anybody can understand it. So it's not So my only point is, do not limit yourself. Don't limit yourself, because ministry is ministry. Whether you're at work, whether you're in school, whether you're on the college campus, no matter where you're at, you can represent God, because He tells us to present our body as a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Him. Our life has to represent Him. Our life is a service to Him. However you want to use me, don't limit. That's what I mean by don't limit yourself. However you want to use me, it has to be spirit led. Don't be going. Can't do things out of ego, because the flesh can only get you so far. You'll get so far and stop, because that's not an area you was called to. You have to be spirit led, and the spirit going to have the fruits of the spirit. That's how you know. If you want to do something out of anger and all that, that's not spirit led because He don't give us those spirits. You going if it don't represent the fruits of the spirit, it's not Him. But He has more for us than just those four walls. That's just where we learn, where we're being taught, where we're being where we're able to grow, where we're able to heal. Um, all of that. It's not limited. We go outside of there. We take what we learn in there and apply it to real life. Apply it to how we serve others. Apply it to how we bring other people to Christ through our lifestyle, like I taught in salvation, through our testimony, through our lifestyles, through our the way we handle different situations, the way we talk to people, the way we handle different people. Um, it's like my mission statement with the church is to teach the church how to live and to show the world that in us God lives. Just to teach the church how to live and to show the world that in us God lives. It ain't to condemn the world, it ain't to harshly judge the world. It's to show the world that God lives in us. That God lives, that God is we represent God day in, day out. That's part of part of our job as the church. That's why He called us to be separate, not to say we're better than anybody else, but because we're supposed to represent. We can't help others if we're still in it with them. I can't teach you how to improve your credit if I have a 300 credit score. It just doesn't make any sense. So I have to come out in order to help others get out. I can't help you get you out if I'm in there still. I can't do it. It's impossible. So that's all I'm saying. We take what we learn in church. We're there to serve, to be fed, to grow, to heal, all that kind of stuff. That's where we get all our teaching. And now we are to read and study outside of the church. That's part of your homework. And also to apply what you're learning when it comes to Jesus' teachings and stuff like that. So that's pretty much the truth of it. Pretty much it's not it's truth of it is not it's not limited. And that's why I stopped full time because there are other areas He wants to use me in when it comes to I have a strong calling towards finance, financial literacy. So I have to. So right now He's taking me through the process of improving my finance. Like I said, it starts with self and it moves out. Start from within and moves out. I feel that calling in finance. I'm not ready for that yet, but I will be. I know that calling is coming. Finance and media, like business, but when it comes to finance, uh, media, because he puts films and different things in my head, short films, animations that will bring people to God, stuff like that. So I feel callings in different areas. It's not just because I see people that because that it's more to it than that than just I used to desire that, but and God kept saying, "Is that it? Is that all you want?" But He also showed me there's so much more. This is a big world, guys. This is a big world. People that's caught up in just a mic, that's caught up in having a lead song at church, that's caught up in just wanting to be seen or wanting to shine. Um, this is a huge world. He has so much more for us than that, than just uh, a solo on Sunday. I'm not saying don't use your gift in church. I'm not saying that. I'm saying don't limit yourself to that. He has a huge world. It's some people He wants to bless your finances. I'm sick of these spam calls. It's some start blocking them. Um, he wants to use us in finance so we can bless other people. He wants to improve our business so we can mentor and train and show other people. Like I said, I have a huge calling in business, helping people start businesses. Helping. That's why I named it Prosperity Enterprise. I feel that strong pulling and calling towards helping people start businesses, helping create jobs for other people, helping people improve a lot of their financial situation. I feel a calling in that area. So he's been dealing with me when it comes to finances and causing me to be more disciplined and causing me to make certain sacrifices so I can be able to help others do the same things. Um, he's calling me in those areas, so that's why I've been challenged. I've been challenged in certain areas because he's calling me to minister in those areas. Because financial literacy is part of ministry. All that's part of ministry. Helping people start their own businesses, and even down the road, he's wanting me to help people acquire certain skills that they need for for either get a job, start their own ministry, start their own business, um, different things like that. This is all future stuff I'm talking about here. Not saying I'm ready to do this right now. I feel a calling on my life to eventually walk in those things. So I'm being processed in those areas. So because how many know if you can't lead somebody through something you've never been through, you can't help somebody get out of it if you've never been through it on the other side and all that stuff. He can't. You can't teach because there's certain problems you might run into, certain things you might have to be coached through, and I can't. You won't be able to lead them through certain circumstances, certain situations if you never encountered that problem. That's why a lot of people are judgmental and extreme because they've never been processed in a lot of different areas. They're trying to judge people because they never had to actually go through that. If you had to actually go through what that other person went through, is going through, you wouldn't judge them because you'll know how they're feeling, what they had to do, the thoughts that are in their mind. You wouldn't be so judgmental. So, I know the areas he's calling me to outside of the four walls, like business, finance, um, media, um, because it's a lot of artists that don't that want to get the music out there. They don't have the opportunity. They may not have the opportunity that other people get, and I want to do it in a way that's not demonic because other people have to sell their life, sell their soul. Not interested in doing anything like that. If we can't do it kingdom, I don't want it. I don't want nobody's soul, none of that crap. Um, it's just to get you because you don't have to do all of that. If you want it just to do music, if you enjoy doing music, you don't have to sell your soul to do music. You might not have the same level of fame and finance, but you can maintain a decent life uh, doing what you enjoy. You don't have to give up all. You don't have to give up your soul and all that stuff. That stuff is just crazy. Um, I want to provide a lot of different opportunities for people. Now that is a part of ministry. It's all of it is a part of ministry. Helping, serving, healing. Um, so it's not just grabbing a microphone. It's not all about that. So in order for me to help those people and serve those people, that means I have to be blessed financially. That means I have to have wealth. In order to teach people how to acquire it, I have to have wealth. So I'm already giving God praise for what He's going to give me. Because if He's calling me in these areas, that means I have to acquire it first. So I have to act and live as if I already have it. So I can give Him praise based off the callings on my life because in order to fulfill that calling, he have to give me the resources to fulfill it. He's not going to call me to something without providing that. So I can receive those things, even though they're still being processed. If I'm going to help people and minister to people when it comes to business, when it comes to finance, when it comes to uh, other aspects, comes to acquiring different skills, that means I'm gonna have, in order to do that, I'm gonna have the resources. So I trust him that he's going to provide all of that because it's what he's showing me. So, but it took me years to expand to that because I was limited at first. Of just preaching at church or just grabbing a microphone, being behind a keyboard, or receiving praise and admiration for doing things good, for playing the drums well, or something like that. That's too limited and narrow minded. There's so much more that he wants to do for us than that. He wants to bless us, some people. He wants to bless a lot of people financially, not because so they can go live the life they want. It's not some dream where you're on the beach in Florida, and I'm not selling an ad to you like that. It's just so we can serve others, so we can. Now he does want us to enjoy life, but we have to be a service to others in ministry too. You know, so because we don't, so he bless us, he'll bless us financially, but he can because he can trust us with those finances to distribute them properly, to put them in the areas where they need to be. So to be wise with it, you know, um, just like any other resource with businesses and things like that. Because when you have a business, when you own a business, you're CEO. You have say you have 1,000 people working for you. Their lives are in your hands. You have people's lives in your hands. You're a supervisor on the job. You have people that trust you, that are going to come to you, that are going to depend on you for certain things. So that's a big deal, you know. And if we're believers, we can use those opportunities to bring to show them the love of God. It's a lot of different opportunities. It's not just in church; it's in our everyday life. When we remove that ego, that pride, and we have that willingness to serve Him in every aspect of our life. That's the whole deal. It's not just one area. It's not just I'm gonna go to church and just going to church every Sunday. I'm serving the Lord. No, we got it's time. He called us to do more. That's why a lot of people. It's not the fact that. That's why a lot of people are starting to leave church. Not saying that they. I'm not saying that they're justified. I'm saying that we. Because I don't see. I see a lot of ministries teaching this, but a lot of areas are limited. I don't know if it's being emphasized enough because we can serve outside of the four walls. We're we are because everyone has their own personal ministry because everyone has their own personal relationship with God. So we're not limited. So I encourage people to when you have your own personal relationship with God, what is God telling you to do? What ministry is God telling you to have? How is he telling you to serve people? Is he telling you to serve people on your job? Is he telling you to bring people to Christ? Because how can you preach on a microphone in church, but your friends aren't saved? Your family isn't saved. You got people that need God all around you, and you hadn't ministered to them. You know, it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? If we hadn't ministered to them, we hadn't, our life ain't lining up right. How effective would we be if we did get a microphone in the church? That's how I know it's not limited to that. Because a lot of people that are truly called and have a genuine heart, the reason they're able to preach, they're able to teach behind the pulpit is that preaching and teaching is a reflection of their real life. They're able to preach it and teach it so effectively because they had to live it. You can't tell, you can't because they can do that because there's certain things that they know, certain things God has showed them, certain things they had to experience. They can help you how to tell you how to get through certain things because they had to live those things. They had to go through that. They had to get persecuted. They had to. They had to endure those sufferings. Because you can't. There's no substitute for actual experience on certain things. On certain things, now you can read about Job, you can read about these things, but you can read about the mistakes that Solomon made. Some things you want to learn from other people, but there are certain things that we have to go through to minister effectively. Because you can't help somebody through the process of grieving. You can't fully empathize with them unless you've had to grieve yourself. You can't boldly proclaim that God is a healer if he's never had to deliver you out of sickness. You can't boldly proclaim that he's a waymaker unless you've been in a situation where no one could help you but him. And you had to trust him and only him because no one could relate to your situation or no one was able to help you. And you had to put all your trust and faith in him. And he came through for you. He showed up and showed out in your life. There's no way you could boldly proclaim he's a waymaker. So they've had to go through that stuff. It's because they had to go through it. And I've been told, uh, somebody told me, you know a lot. It's because I had. It's not that I know a lot. I had to experience a lot. I did a lot of things wrong actually, and I had to experience a lot. So I learned. I had to do studying. I had to do research because my life kept repeating itself. Kept going through the same cycles over and over. Why do I keep going through this? So I had to study some of the actions that were causing those cycles over and over and over. And okay, this is going on. This ain't getting nowhere. I need to study where I'm going wrong so I can stop. So this thing can stop. So I had to learn and grow out of certain things and evolve. So the cycles will stop. Still some more I gotta get rid of, but that's why we're here. So we can learn and grow and get fed and continue because a lot of things we don't it's still more that we have to realize that we hadn't realized we need to come out of. It's a daily process. So, you know. Um, but like I said, it's not just limited to where we serve, where we go on Sunday, Wednesday. Um, we have to tell ourselves wherever once you get to the place wherever you want to use me, Lord, it don't matter. If it's giving somebody a ride to the store, but we got to be you. But you have to use discernment now. Use discernment. In order to have that discernment, you have to know his voice. You have to be trained to hear his voice. Because sometimes it might not be wise to help certain people. Because some people, you know, certain situations where people wind up dead trying to help somebody because they didn't have the discernment to keep moving. Sometimes the Holy Spirit tell you, nope, don't you help them. You got to keep moving. You keep driving. So we have to have discernment. You have to have discernment when it comes to who we help. Sometimes we help people and they mess our life up because that wasn't our assignment. All that is required is wrapped around having wisdom, hearing his voice, all that stuff. Because he had to train us to hear his voice. But anyway, I don't want to ramble too much because my point has been made. Can't limit ourselves um, just to church. We gotta be willing to expand when we're led to do so by the Spirit, because He'll lead us to serve elsewhere. 'Cause I know a lot of church members that have their own online ministries, that have prison ministries, that have other ministries outside of there. So you don't have to uh, just limit yourself to one thing, because He's called us to. That's why He intends on blessing us and giving us plentiful blessings. It's not so we could live these lavish lifestyles, so we could be of service to others, so we can help others. So God can get the glory out of it. It ain't so we can feed our ego. It ain't so we can just stimulate our minds and all that other stuff. So He can get the glory out of our life. How did you get all this stuff? How did you acquire it? How did you get where you are? God. God brought me out. If he did it for me, he can do it for you. Whatever area he want to be you. Now we have to be careful when you say that too, because sometimes we go through things. Ministry is not always comfortable. Sometimes we have to suffer and make it out just so other people can see that it's possible to make it out. It ain't always comfortable serving. Sometimes we have to be used as somebody to go through something and come out on the other side. It may not be you speaking. It may not be you hooping and hollering with the mic. It may not be you playing instrument and everybody's seeing you do it. He has showed out. It's not all about that. Sometimes it's you having to go through a season without something. You having to go through a season of grieving, of having to of lacking certain things and making it out. How you handle that now, how you handle that season determines if you still praising God, if you're still serving God, you're still giving him, you're still serving him, you're still giving him your all, you're still being disciplined with him in spite of your lack, in spite of what you're going through. Other people see that you still have your joy, you still have peace that surpasses all understanding. You still have those things when you go through seasons of lack. People see that. That in itself is ministry. It's not all comfortable. It's not all. It's not all gumdrops and ice cream and sunshine. I'm here to tell you, it is not. So if that's the mindset we have, then you're in for a rude awakening, my friend. Because it ain't all about that. It's gonna be some discomfort. It's gonna be some persecution. It's gonna be some suffering in there. It's gonna be some, because many of the afflictions of the righteous, but he shall deliver us out of them all. So it ain't gonna always be comfortable. There's times I wanted to give up. There's times I wanted to do away with this altogether. Time I wanted to walk off of this thing and say, man, to heck with this. It's times I wanted to do that. It's times I even told God, look, if I gotta go through all this to get what you want from me, I don't even want it. That's how bad it was. That's how hard it was. It's times I wanted to quit. I'm not gonna tell you no story. It's times I want to just say, man, forget this stuff, man. I gotta go through all of this just to get what you have for me. I told her I don't even want this, man. And that's part of it. It ain't glitz and glamour and like some people try to make it out to be. It's not glitz and glamour and high fives and sun kisses. No, no, sir. It's a lot of things that come with this. A lot of things come with this because why a lot of people run from it because they know everything that they know that it demands sacrifice. We can't do what we want. We can't go where we want to go all the time. We can't even be with who we want all the time. Some people that we like, God may tell us no. Some people we might have feelings for them, might be feeling them, might be into them. God say no, no, not them. It might be a lot of things we want to do. He'll say no, 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 you can't do that. No, not that. He'll shut it down. He try to some things he'll shut down for you. You don't get a say. So it no, no, that ain't what I told you to do. No. So it demands sacrifice because he have to get the glory out of your life. You've been chosen. He got to get the glory out of your life. So it's going to come with sacrifice. Our life is the sacrifice. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a nightmare. It's only a nightmare if you resist. If you resist it, you're not gonna grow. You're not gonna elevate. You're not gonna evolve. If you resist that process, and that's you're gonna be stagnated because when you've been called, when you've been chosen, the things that you truly desire is tied up in your obedience to serve Him. Tied if you the longer you choose to not completely submit, the longer you're gonna have to go without the things that you truly desire, without the things that He promised you. We can't do it we can't just do what we want, how we want. when we've given our life to him, when we have a call on our life, because he got to get the glory out of it. He can't get the glory out of it if we do it our way. It won't work. It just won't work. Nothing we try to do outside of his will ever prosper. We got to put him first. Whatever we want, we got to put him first. Seek ye first the kingdom and his righteousness. We cannot, uh, got to get self out the way. That's the only way it's going to work. It ain't going to work no other way. I'm here to tell you that right now. And ask me how I know. I have been through it. And this message hit me first. It always hit the messenger first. Because I keep, you know what I'm saying? So I keep doing this and this and this and this and that work. But what did God tell you to do? Don't worry about Sarah Sue over there. Don't worry about what's worked for everybody else. Don't worry about what worked for Joe. Don't worry about what worked for Billy Bob. What did God tell you to do? What did he tell you to do? Well, such and such did this and they prospered. This and such did this and that. What did God tell you to do? What is he telling you to do? How is he telling you? What what had he told you to do and you not done it yet? What assignment has he given you that you hadn't answered? That's the question of the day. What has he told you to do that you have not done? What assignment has he given you that you've neglected? If you feel yourself stagnated, if you feel yourself going through the same systems and cycles and process, what has he told you to do that you're not doing? What have he told you to do? He told you to do something because he not just gonna let you go through the same thing over and over or deal with the same problems over and over. I keep meeting the same type of people. I keep going through the same thing over and over. I keep dealing with the same season. What has he told you to do that you're not doing? Just think about that for a second. That's all you gotta do. My point been made. Miguel, if you live for God, believe what he say, he's going to take you a mighty long way. And I love y'all. Love the Lord. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful Sunday. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. I don't know if I'm gonna do. I might do a podcast on my Twitch stream next time, but I'll see if unless he gives me something to talk about or try to discuss. But like I said, don't limit yourself. Seek the Lord what he wants you to do. If you feel limited, if you feel restricted in your ministry, he may be leading you to do other to serve him outside of the four walls. And with 9 times he's probably is, but keep in mind too that there's always a process too, because Jesus went through a process before he started his ministry. So just keep that in mind too. Don't just jump out there, way and get in over your head either. Make sure it's spirit led, and because that's how I got out of music, because not all the way but full time, because I felt limited, I felt restricted. He was calling me and he's been training me and grooming me to serve in different areas, different aspects beyond the four walls. I'm not saying I'm not serving in church anymore, but he's expanding me beyond that into everyday life. So and our lives have to line up with that too. But anyway, y'all be easy. Um, I hope y'all got something out of this, and y'all take care.